Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites.
Hello, and welcome back to the Unearthing Games Podcast. I'm your lead excavator, Nick, and today I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Jake.
And we dig games. So, how's it going, Jacob? What you been up to this week?
My God, I've been so busy.
Yeah?
It's not even funny.
Busy with what? Like, busy with, like, homework? Or busy with video games? Or both?
Well, it's becoming, like, there's the homework busy that I don't really do anything about. I just stress about it. But I'm stressing about homework while I play video games. So it's really not a good system. It needs to be worked out some, but...
You stress while you're doing your homework because you can't get your homework done. And then you stress while you're playing your video games because your homework isn't done.
Because my homework's not done. Yep. That's about right.
I like it.
But no, I've been playing a bit of The Division lately.
I saw that. I saw you online.
Yeah, we've been playing Ghost Recon with Phil, or that was...
Well, we played a bit of Wildlands. We played for a while on that, and then...
Mm-hmm. We should probably go back to that.
He just recently got us into Breakpoint. Breakpoint seems cool. I mean, I've gotten accustomed to Breakpoint. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, and we got lucky. We got it on like a really deep sale.
Yeah, I mean, how could I pass up a $60 game for like $8? So
it was wonderful. It was beautiful. I do love when my games are at a hella discount.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's work and school mostly.
Work and school.
My classes aren't too bad.
Is all your stuff still online?
Uh-huh. I haven't gone to campus at all.
Same.
I go to campus. I technically go to campus to work, but I don't really consider that going to campus because I don't actually go interact with anybody that I haven't interacted with on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that.
But no, I don't. All of my classes are online, so I don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, keeps it pretty simple. Keeps you safe, right?
Yeah, it's neat. Then again, I just go to HEB and forget stuff that I'm supposed to buy.
Hey, man, going to the grocery store, at least for me now, it's like a stressful endeavor because, like, you never know when you're going to round the corner and there'll be, like, some family of 6 who doesn't believe in wearing a mask. So, like, none of them are wearing masks. And I'm like, don't breathe, Nick. Don't breathe. Just move past.
You just move past them really quickly.
Yeah.
But
it's hard when they have, like, 6 children with them in tow and 3 of them are small children and they're, like, wrestling in the aisle. And I don't want to just plow through her children with my cart.
Why not?
I mean, I don't want to do that, but I mean, yeah. Anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, so how have you been? What's been happening?
I mean, I guess things have been pretty run-of-the-mill here, you know? I mean, Erica's job has ramped up a lot, so she's been really, really busy. Hence why she's not here with us today on this particular episode. She's working. So, boo.
Get that money.
I mean, yeah, she gets paid a lot, but, like, if you, like, boil it down to, like, the hourly rate, like, how many hours she works versus how much she actually makes, I mean, thinking about it, she probably still makes quite a bit. But, but I feel like it's probably, like, not as much as, like, it would sound. Like, if you say that the number is, and it's like, well, yeah, but she works, like, 90 hours a week. It's like, oof. Oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nah from me, dog.
Yeah. But so she's been really busy,
She won't be busy forever, though.
No, she won't. That'll come to an end at the end of February, so that's right around the corner.
Dope.
Other than that, I've been trying out a lot of different games on Game Pass and just different things. I picked up a game called Unravel, which is a cute platformer where you're like a guy who's made out of yarn.
Yeah,
so it's kind of. Is that the guy's name, Yarny?
I think so.
Oh,
if I remember the ad campaign for that game right.
Hey, I mean, I know it's a bit of an older game, but it's really cool. The game is beautiful. It's very well done. I think the mechanic is cute because he is made of yarn, and so every so often you'll hit a point where you run out of yarn. So you have to, like, look around and try to see, like, oh, well, I must have missed a spool of yarn somewhere. Let me go and look for it because I can't go forward until I find it.
Until you... Oh, man, that's it. That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's kind of neat. Like at some point, you'll hit spots where you have to crawl up the yarn. But so I picked up that. We've been playing a lot of like Fortnite, Wildlands, and stuff like, or not Wildlands, Breakpoint.
Breakpoint, yeah.
Other than that, I mean, and still buying tons of board games. I think so far, just within the first month of the year, we've probably added a good 10 to 11 board games to our collection. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's that.
That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot of games, but I'm super excited to play a lot of them. I bought my very first Table Hog, so...
I was about to say, that's not your domain, man. Stay in your lane.
I know, it's not my thing. I even told Phil about it, and he was like, what are you doing buying a Table Hog? And I was like, this game is everywhere. Everywhere I look on Board Game Geek, on Board Game Reddit, everywhere people talk about this game and have pictures of this game, so I need it.
Everywhere I look, I just see your face. No. But
yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been up to. Basically, run-of-the-mill stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But yeah, sweet.
So, I guess now that we've talked about what we've been up to this week, Jacob, why don't you jump into your game? What did you play this week?
Well, it's been more of like a month or so that I've been playing this. I can't put it down. So my game this week is actually a fairly popular one, Hades by Supergiant Games. Supergiant is the guys who made Transistor and Bastion, games like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those I don't really know how to describe their art style, but it's a very unique art style. It's a
fantastic art style. Like I think it's great. I love Supergiant Games.
Mm-hmm. And they carried it over to Hades. And so the tags for Hades on Steam are action roguelite or action roguelike, action indie RPG roguelite. Which
is it now? Is it a roguelike or is it a roguelite? I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, tell that to Supergiant. But
well, they may not have put the tags.
They probably didn't.
Because what does it say here on Steam? It says popular user-defined tags. So these are tags that people add to this product.
So I'm not the only one who doesn't know the difference between roguelite and roguelike.
This is the one that I think it's roguelite, where basically everything that you do, like, it improves your subsequent runs.
Yeah.
Where, like, everything that, like things that you do on run 1 will, like, increase your strength and damage and stuff for run 2. And then
there are things you can do. Like, you gather resources in your runs, and you come back to your hub area, and you spend those resources to make yourself better.
Exactly. But there's some games that are, roguelikes are the ones where not like one all runs are independent of each other. Nothing carries over from run to run. That you don't improve your stats or anything like that for the next runs. Those are roguelikes. So Risk
of Rain would be a roguelike.
Yes, because nothing like
all of
your past runs don't matter on the next run. The only thing that's changed is you. You've supposedly gotten better at the game and can play better and get farther. And we haven't played Risk of Rain in a long time. We need to play.
We haven't. Anyway,
sorry.
Back to Hades.
Hades. Roguelite.
Roguelite. So you take on the character of Zagreus, who is the son of the Lord of the Underworld, Hades. And you are fed up with your life. Just, you hate it in the underworld.
One of those spoiled rich kid. He's tired of his posh life and wants to go
tired of it.
Make it hard on himself.
And let's say Hades isn't exactly the best person to start off with.
I mean, he's just an overprotective dad, right? I mean,
it's not even that he's an overprotective dad. He's an overprotective husband, is really what it is.
Well, maybe a bit of both.
So you figure out, like, the reason why Zagreus is leaving is because his mother left. And he never knew her, so he wants to go find her. And he's getting help. He's getting help from all of the other underworld gods, like Nyx. And actually, I think Nyx is really the only one who's really helping you. Well, she's the one,
because you're also getting aid from the gods of Olympus, right? That's the boons or whatever that you get.
So yes, and like throughout your run, as you're fighting through the levels of the underworld, you'll run across rooms that will grant you a boon of. They have like 10, I think, Olympian gods.
That sounds
Obviously, you have the big two, Poseidon and Zeus. Then you have all of the other lesser ones. Ares, Athena, Aphrodite. Dionysus is my favorite.
Dionysus
my
is
man,
great. He's
Dionysus.
His voice acting, it's like some chill bro at like a frat party and all that.
Like,
he's the guy that's like, he's been smoking way too much of something, and he's in the corner like, hey man, how's it going? Have yourself a drink and sit down.
Zach, man, like, you must really, man, you have to get up here. And so they all want you to come to Olympus, right? That's their entire reason for helping you, is that they think that you're trying to get to Olympus when in reality you're trying to find your mother. But they don't need to know that.
Yeah.
And so you fight through 3 levels of the underworld. You fight through Tartarus is your first one. It's the easy place. Which is funny, because Tartarus is supposed to be like where all the really bad people are stored. Like, you have to do some really, really bad shit.
It's like the ninth circle of hell kind of thing, It's the where the lowest of the low go.
Yeah. So, it's fun. Every room that you run through has, like, what you're going to get whenever you pick a room to run through. Because when you ran through the previous room, it gave you a little pop-up over... Sometimes you'll get multiple options of which door you want to take, and they'll show you the rewards on the door for the next room.
Okay.
So they can be anything from darkness, which is used to level yourself up. Basically, you have so many abilities that you can pour darkness into to make yourself better.
Okay.
Sometimes there'll be boons. They'll show you what Olympian god is going to help you this time.
Yeah, like a lightning bolt for Zeus or something like that, right?
Yeah, or a heart for Aphrodite, or a trident. There's actually a couple of tridents, because there's a trident for Ares and a trident for Poseidon.
That's right.
It's just red and blue. You can also find nectar, which is used to actually increase your standing with people you can talk to around the world. Because like every so often, every level of the underworld has an NPC that you can go talk to.
That's right. I think I met the one in Tartarus. It's Sisyphus, right?
It's Sisyphus in Tartarus.
The guy who has to push the boulder up the mountain forever.
And it's a really nice respite, because you don't fight them. Yeah, you just go talk to them, and they give you things. But you can give nectar to them to make them happier, and it unlocks more dialogue. And actually, the first bottle of nectar you give every NPC that you could possibly give nectar to will give you an item that you can use on your runs to make it better, to make yourself better. My favorite is the one you get from the training dummy, the one that gives you a second chance whenever you die.
Oh yeah, it's like a tooth or something, right?
Yeah, it's a tooth. I love that one's my favorite. There are some that will like get better as you do things throughout the run. Like the one you get from Hermes, as if you clear a level within the certain amount of time that it gives you, you get a percentage of dodge, like a dodge chance upgrade. The plume is nice because dodge is basically they swing and miss. Like you don't have to do anything. It
kind of gives you a chance where if you failed to dodge on your own, it'll give you a chance that they might just miss.
Yeah. Like if you fail the dash, because they're all
dash. Yes.
This is a very high speed. It's an action roguelite. Like you're moving around, you're dodging. I play on mouse and keyboard, and my God, my keyboard hates me.
I could not. Like I booted that game up, and I remember it prompted me in the beginning. It's like, this game is best experienced with controller. And I'm
That's nonsense.
I'm like, all right, Supergiant, I trust you. And I don't know how you would play that mouse and keyboard. Like, that just seems like it would be punishing.
I mean, I've managed it. I managed it. I beat the game, damn it, on mouse and keyboard, boy. Don't tell me. Don't even at me, bro. So, there are some keepsakes that are activated keepsakes. They're really high-level special ones. There's only like 5, I think, in the game. That's the row at the bottom of the keepsakes deal. You only unlock those when you have a high enough bond level, I think is what it's called. It's hearts. Like, you give people nectar and ambrosia, and they'll love you.
I've seen that. Like, I saw that, like, because there's like a codex you can go into that shows like the information for like all the bad guys you fight and the different gods you develop your relationships with. I think even the weapons and stuff have codex entries, right?
Oh yeah.
And is that the little hearts under the name? Like I remember, like if I looked at like Zeus, I think I had like 2 hearts under him or something like that. Right?
You have so many hearts, and at first you get hearts by giving them nectar. You know, it's like, hey, it'll pop up as an option before, like for the Olympian gods, it'll pop up as an option before you accept their boon, and you have to do it before you accept the boon, or else you don't have that option ever.
What is it? It's like right trigger to gift or something like that. Well, whatever button it was for mouse and keyboard, I don't know.
It's G, man. Obviously, gift. G. Come on.
G is for gift.
GG. No.
F is for friends who do stuff together.
U is for you and me. But as you go through, like as you level up your relationship with them, you have to give better things. You have to give a bottle of ambrosia. But ambrosia is a boss reward, so
yeah, I've got a couple of bottles of that. I was wondering what it does because I know you can trade it into the broker guy. Like if you need to get certain high level things like Titan blood and stuff like that, you could give him a bottle of ambrosia for Titan blood. Because I never really understood what ambrosia even did. So it's a gift item. Okay.
Well, that's the thing is that I didn't really do anything with the stuff I had until I knew for certain, like, what they were for.
That's a good way to go about it.
So, like, I didn't use Titan Blood, actually, until you told me that Titan Blood is for the weapons.
Well, I didn't even know until the first time I beat a run. Because I don't think you can use it until the first time you finish a run. Until
the first time you win.
Yeah. I think after that, then you can use the Titan Blood. I think. I might have just not known how to do it.
I probably didn't. I probably just didn't know. But yeah, so you use Titan's Blood to upgrade your weapons and their aspects. So each weapon has 4 aspects, I do believe. There's 3 normal ones that are like Olympian based, or they're based on Greek mythology.
Yeah, like I think I had the spear one that was like the aspect of Achilles or something like that, right?
Yeah, like you'll get the aspect of Achilles, Poseidon, and then Zagreus is...
All of them have an aspect of Zagreus, right?
All of them have an aspect of Zagreus. But, and then there's a 4th one that's secret, that you don't know until you have somebody tell you, hey, I was told, like, this is an awakening phrase, and they'll give you a phrase, and then once you go to that weapon, and you activate it, Zagreus will say the phrase, and it'll unlock a new aspect that you can buy. They're usually expensive, and they're usually ridiculously powerful.
So it costs a lot, but it's worth it.
Yeah. I've there was one that was really hard. Like, I don't want to say, like, spoil anything for it.
Okay.
But there was one aspect that I thought was really hard, because it cuts down your health. Like, it cuts down your health a lot.
But I imagine it's probably a risk-reward thing. Like, it's like,
it's a very powerful
weapon. Go in with
weapon.
30% of your maximum health, but get 30% more damage or something. I don't know.
70% of your maximum health.
It cuts 70%?
It's wild.
Okay, so I was right. So, like, you go in with 30%.
You go in, but it's also a really powerful weapon.
Okay.
But I've unlocked 4 of the 6 secret aspects.
Okay.
And I've beaten the game with 2. Well, I've gotten to the end with 2. 2
of the secret aspects, or just 2 weapons?
2 of the secret aspects.
Oh, okay. So is there a reward for getting to the end with that secret aspect?
There is a... So, alright, here's another thing. So there's a bunch of challenges that you can do throughout the game that are given to you by the Fates.
Yeah, I've seen those. I think I had one that was to... it was like collect every boon from Zeus at least once or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Zagreus gets the fated or the minor list of fated stuff. The fated minor list. It's stuff that's like, okay, it's not huge things, but it's just like...
It's like the fate said it's going to happen, so you make it happen, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're just helping fate along. And yeah, there are things like that. Like, there's one for every Olympian god, get every single one of their boons. There's one for the legendary boons, because every god has a legendary, except for Chaos, because Chaos is not really a god. She's a primordial being.
I think Chaos has a duo, though. Could be wrong.
Does she have a duo? That's interesting.
Sorry,
I never knew that.
Off topic. There's also duo boons. My bad.
Yes. No. Yeah. Back to boons. If you have a certain combination of gods, every time you accept a boon, there's like a message from them. Like they talk to you, but it's like a pre-recorded message. Like they don't actually see
like a
you.
voicemail that comes with their gift.
Yeah. But if they notice that you have somebody else's boons, they can be like, oh, well, here, they're right here with me. We can give you like a double boon. And they do, like, some of them they'll play off of each other.
It's usually a combo of their stuff. Like, I think I had like a Poseidon one where I think it was Poseidon and Artemis or something like that, where it was basically like, I think critical hits would cause more rupture.
Mm-hmm.
Something to that effect, or rupture could cause critical hits.
Critical
something
hits,
like
that's
that.
Interesting.
Because Artemis's whole shtick was critical hits, right?
Criticals, yes. And Poseidon's whole deal is knockback. Zeus's is all chain lightning. Ares is Doom. Oh, Doom is so good.
Doom, and I would say the most powerful things that I found playing that were Doom from Hades, or from Ares, or Rupture from Poseidon.
From Poseidon. But Rupture is like a later level deal. Like you have to level up to Rupture.
Yeah.
Because you have to get a boon that, because a lot of their boons are synergistic with their own. So like if you have more Poseidon boons, they're going to play off of each other much better than anything else.
Well, yeah, like the first two will be something like that. The first 2 or 3 will add knockback to different, like your basic attack or your dodge.
Or your special, or
and then
things
later
like
on
that.
you get ones that are like, oh hey, every time you do knockback, cause extra damage and stuff like that.
Yeah, they all play off of each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just really fun. It's really fun. I like it. There's a whole bunch of things.
It's a ton of fun, I will admit.
There's a whole bunch of things that I don't think I've done yet. Like, there's a currency you get throughout the runs called gems.
Oh,
gemstones.
Yeah, and you can buy like
you buy
cosmetic
them to
stuff for the House of Hades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually fated deals that you have to buy everything for certain places.
Okay.
And
I only bought a couple of rugs for like the main room, so I don't know what happened.
Nah, man. Buy it all. Buy everything for the kitchen. Because the chef is your friend. Oh, yeah. There's also fishing. Fishing is kind of like, you can overlook fishing, really. It's just boat.
If a game has a fishing mini game, you have to do it. You have to
it's just, do it. So during a run, you can find these spots in water areas, which are hard to tell what's actually water, because
sometimes it's lava.
Sometimes it's lava. Sometimes it's the river Styx. Sometimes it's whatever the river in Elysium is. I don't know. It's supposed to make you happy.
Good vibes? I don't know.
Good vibes. But there will be like a beam of light shooting out from it, and that's a fishing spot. And there's an upgrade you can buy from the contractor who you spend the gems on to upgrade either the world or buy cosmetics for the House of Hades. You can buy the rod of fishing, and Poseidon gets like really happy when he notices that you have the rod of fishing. It's like, oh my gosh, like you can catch so many things down there. It's great. And yeah, and you can go catch fish, and as like they don't do anything for you until
I think they get you currency, right? Like a couple of fish I turned in got me a bottle of ambrosia. And
well, yeah, but like that was after
gems or something like that.
Yeah, but that was after the run. They don't do anything for you in the time.
Well, yeah, and then I think most of them don't really do anything. Like most of them like wind up being like gift items or gems to buy cosmetics for the house. So. Yeah,
so like, but you'll take them to the chef in the kitchen, and he'll give you stuff for them. Like honestly, that's basically the entire way I get nectar nowadays. It's because I get keys. I get chthonic keys, which you need chthonic keys for like the early game. Later on, they don't really do anything because you use keys to unlock the weapons, basically. You only start out with 2 weapons, I think. No, 1 weapon. And you use chthonic keys to unlock the other 5. After a while, you have everything, so you don't need... Or you also use keys to respec.
That's true.
Your darkness.
But I think that's kind of the... I think that's a... I'm not going to call it a pitfall, but that's like a natural thing for all roguelites. where eventually the currency that you would acquire to improve your stuff, like,
Doesn't mean
becomes
anything.
null because you've unlocked everything that currency can unlock. Like,
Yeah.
once you've unlocked all the cosmetics for the House of Hades, what else are you going to use gems for? I mean, really.
Yeah, that's what the broker is there for. The broker, you can
Trade up.
I can trade keys for nectar for something else. I don't think
Diamonds?
gems are really there. Diamonds maybe. But anyway, that's what you use. That's what it's there for. Like, I use keys at the broker to buy more nectar so I can make people happier. That's what I do.
Okay.
That's my thing. But yeah, I think it's really about the style of it. It's a top down. I like how this is like the ending thing. It's an isometric dungeon crawler almost. Not really a dungeon crawler. You go from room to room. So,
Yeah,
but it's
I mean,
isometric.
Like I said, it kind of, I would say it reminds me a lot of like Enter the Gungeon style, where every room is self-contained and you can't move on to the next room until you have cleared said room.
Until you clear the room. But
Yeah.
unlike Enter the Gungeon, every room gives you a reward. At least one that you like.
Yeah, Enter the Gungeon rewards are super rare. Super rare.
Mm-hmm. But this one, by the end of it, you're a god yourself. Well, you are a god.
Well, I mean,
But-
are you a god or are you like a demigod? I don't know. I don't know what how the terminology works for
No, you're
Greek
a god.
mythology. I guess
Because
because you're the son of a god, the son of two gods, right?
Yeah, so you are a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's funny because you're the son of like a god actually getting with another god and not Zeus getting with a mortal. Huh.
There's a lot of those.
God, Greek mythology is going to break itself. Shit.
Oh, hey, thinking about my Greek mythology, I think there's another of the big ones, because you said it was like Poseidon and Zeus. Well, Demeter is their sister.
That's right, Demeter.
So
is in there.
Demeter's. It's like old Aunt Demeter, basically.
Grandma Demeter,
Grandma or aunt?
because Persephone is Demeter's daughter.
So that's kind of weird. That's a
Well,
weird relationship
okay.
because Demeter is Hades' sister.
Sister. Well, I think the way that she explains it is not technically. Like, I think they're all like step siblings.
Well,
it's
I mean,
weird.
yeah, they are all like born of what was the guy before them? The Cronus. Like, and I don't even know if he really had children or if he like decided to cut off his pinky finger and that made kids. And like that's Greek mythology is weird like that.
Well, no, okay. We can get into
Kind of like
Greek
how the
mythology
Furies
later.
were born of the Titan blood after the Titans were slain, kind of thing. It's weird like that.
Nice.
Greek mythology's cool and weird all at the same time.
Weird. So weird. Have you fought Chiron?
Yes.
So one of the rooms you can get to is actually a shop.
Yes.
And the shopkeeper is Chiron, the boatman, Chiron. And it's hilarious because he'll sell you boons from the gods. And it's funny because every time you go buy one, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like that boatman is a good guy." Man, his prices are steep though. Yeah, because because one of the rewards you can get through a run is gold or Chiron's obols. It's money.
And that's self-contained per run, right? So like as you build up obols, you lose them when you die. Like they go away. They don't carry over.
No, but as you build them up, you can spend them at Chiron's shop. There's also I don't think it's an uncommon event that there will be a bag of money just sitting behind Chiron, because Chiron's there, obviously, he's managing his shop. But there's a bag of money sitting behind him, and you walk up to it, it says, "Borrow 300 obols." And I was like, you know what? I wonder what this is. I hit it, and Chiron gets pissed at you.
Yeah. And I love Zagreus' response. Zagreus' response is always, "But you left it lying around, and you know that I take everything I find, so why would you do this?"
And then you have to go fight Chiron. That is a hard fight. He's an optional boss.
He is.
But it's so hard.
I kind of wish that like, I know it's RNG, the whole thing is RNG, but I like it when that boss fight happens earlier in the run, because when the reward for beating him is a discount card for the rest of the run.
So, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you get that discount card. It's like 15% off of all of your subsequent purchases, but only for that run. So
that's nice.
But it's hard. I've only beaten him once. I fought him like 3 or 4 times. I've only beaten him once.
Chiron is hard. And it's funny because, so I died to him. And I go back, and so the one who's like running the line of dead people coming up to Hades to be like, hey, I want stuff. It's Hypnos, and he's always asleep. It's wonderful. And so you walk up to him, and you can talk to him, and he'll make some snide remark about who you died to, and he'll be really condescending. He's funny. And if you die to Chiron, he's like, what were you thinking? Like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. You go to Nyx, and Chiron is Nyx's son, and she'll be like, "Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like, why would you steal from him?
He's like one of the most powerful beings in the underworld."
It's like, and he's such a greedy bastard. Why would you steal from Chiron? and like, she'll roast you for fighting him. Everybody roasts you for fighting him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're an idiot. Like, nobody fights Chiron. Chiron's invincible. But it's funny. Go pet Cerberus. The House of Hades. House of Hades is so much fun.
It's great. Cerberus is probably my favorite. Because, like, Cerberus. I think at one point, right, like, it shows up like he would be a boss. Because, like, you give him, like, traits to get him to get out the way, and it's like, Cerberus, vanquished. And then in parentheses, it's like, sort of.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
It's great.
No. When I first came up to that area, I was like, no, they're not going to make me fight Cerberus, are they?
Nah.
Because that would be so mean.
Yeah,
but no, they don't.
I would have stopped playing if they made me fight the dog. I'd be like, nope, I'm done. Can't make me.
But it's hilarious because nobody really dies.
Well, no. It's the underworld. They're already dead.
Everybody, they'll just get recycled. It's hilarious.
If anything, like, Zagreus is part of, like, people's eternal torment, you know?
That's true.
Like, yeah, part of your punishment is to be killed by the son of Hades again and again and again and again.
And again and again. But it's only torment for some people. It's torment for the people of Tartarus. Asphodel, who knows? Like, Asphodel is supposed to be the place where, like, the mediocre people go.
It's the average person's heaven.
Yeah. And then Elysium is... Well, so one of the characters makes a comment on Elysium about how it's kind of just silly. That I knew a lot of good people in my life and none of them are here. It's only kings and heroes here.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Elysium. In Greek mythology, heaven, the Elysian fields or whatever, was reserved for, like, the greats. You know, were you a hero of great renown? Were you a great king? That's who gets to go into heaven. If you're a regular person who's a good person, you didn't go to the Elysian fields. No. You went to the river with everyone else, you know?
Mm-hmm. It was, yeah. So, and one of the characters makes a comment on how that's, death is unfair, just like life.
Hey, I mean,
but
that's some meta stuff right there.
Some meta shit, but I think it's fun. I think I'm gonna play it more because I haven't gone through all the heat levels. Because after you beat the game the first time, it gives you... Hades puts a pact of punishment on your exit, and to leave you have to put on a modifier to the world. And it usually makes things harder. But it also lets you get rewards. Like, all the bosses' rewards are reset.
Yeah, and for every level of heat that you can get.
For every level, and you can get more... So that's how you get more rewards to buy more things. But, I'm probably going to be playing it more just to get more heat levels, get my relationships up with everybody.
That's the beauty of roguelites, is it's basically never ending. You know?
I can play forever. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So,
but yeah. So that's Hades by Supergiant Games, both developer and publisher. Yeah, I'd be surprised if you hadn't at least heard of it.
Say, Supergiant is great.
Yes.
They are fantastic.
Indeed. So what were you playing this week?
So this week, again, kind of like you, it's been more like a month because I've been playing this on the back burner. I've been playing a game called Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary was developed by Moirai Games, like Moirai? Moirai? Moirai. It's 2 words, Moirai, I think.
I would Americanize that, sure.
Sure, I butcher names, that's what I do. So developed by Moirai Games and published by Team 17. Now, I've seen a lot of Team 17 games, and they tend to make stuff that I like, honestly.
Nice.
I think that they like to publish games from, like, smaller devs, which, you know me, I'm a sucker for an indie title. I love me a good indie game. So, Monster Sanctuary...
Indies are hit or miss. Indies are hit or miss.
Indies are hit or miss, but that's just it. Like, you know, most of the time, if it's a miss, you only spent $10 on it, so...
That's true.
Now
it's Hades.
Well, but
Anyway.
Hades, like super giant games, it's more of like betting on a sure thing, you know, instead of taking a gamble. Like when you buy like a AAA title for $60 and it's a gamble, you're like, I really hope it's worth the $60, you know.
Anyway,
so,
Monster Sanctuary.
Monster Sanctuary
by
Moire Games. So its tags on Steam are RPG, indie, adventure, strategy, pixel graphics. So it is it's a pixel art style game, and I'm a sucker for pixel art. I love the way pixel art stuff looks.
Of course you are.
This game, I went into it. So like this game has been in early access for a long time, and I think it only recently had its full release in like December of 2020, right? But it's been in early access for quite a bit. I didn't really know a whole lot about this game going in. I'd seen some trailers, and I was like, okay, this looks like a Pokemon clone, right? And I will make a lot of comparisons to Pokemon as I talk about this game, because it's kind of hard not to. Like, I know Pokemon, like, I guess they didn't, like, I don't know if they invented it, but they kind of ran with the whole elemental type styles and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the base plot of Monster Sanctuary is that the Monster Sanctuary is some place, like, sequestered from the rest of the world. Like, it's like in this magical bubble that protects it from the outside world, and it keeps all the monsters safe from regular people, I guess. When you talk to NPCs, they refer to it as the old world, which is, like, probably our world, like, as you would think of it. They talk about how, like, you know, humanity exploited monsters and used them for warfare and, like, you know, killed each other and destroyed the world with them. And so the keepers, who are the humans that live in this place, decided to take all the monsters and take them to a safe place. And so they used, like, ancient magics to create the sanctuary, you know?
Right.
And so you live in this place and you raise monsters, right?
Right.
It's a little crazy. You've got, like, the whole classic starter Pokemon thing where you can pick between fire, water, earth, or they even added air for this one. So you have 4 different, you get to pick your spectral animal.
Nice.
So there's it's like a wolf, a frog, a bird, or a lion, right? I went with the dog because, I mean, how could you not? So my spirit animal. You could easily what?
Not go for a dog.
I mean, hey. So there's a bunch, like I said, it's got the different classes. You start off with your one spirit animal, and as you go, whenever you have a battle with these monsters, there is like a chance that the rewards you get from it might be the egg for another monster.
Oh, nice.
So
you can get, so that's how you, so instead of like catching more instead of catching Pokemon, instead of catching monsters, you get eggs for them and you hatch them.
Yes.
Basically. Okay.
So every fight you get into has a ranking system that kind of ranks you on how well you fought that battle. Mm-hmm. And it ranks you on a bunch of different things, like how hurt were your monsters? Did you apply a lot of debuffs on the enemy? Did you apply a lot of buffs on your people? How long did the fight take? Mm-hmm. And so you can get 1 to 5 stars. And so a 3 to 5 star rating has a chance of getting you an egg. And I think a 5-star guarantees you an egg, but I could be wrong. 5 stars is rare.
So it incentivizes you to play smart.
Exactly. Right? Like to have to kind of develop like strategies within your team. So this game, unlike Pokemon, whenever you get into a battle, it is 3-on-3. So you carry a party of 6 monsters with you at a time. And whenever a fight starts, it'll tell you, like, oh, you're going to fight these 3 monsters. What 3 monsters do you want to throw against them? And so, and it kind of gives you, like, some base stats going in. Like, it'll tell you, hey, the monster you're fighting, he attacks with fire and earth. He is strong. He has defense against air, and he's weak against water. You know, it'll tell you stuff like that. So you have to kind of make sure you've got a team that's diverse enough to ensure that that
Well,
you
because
can
you
kind
are
of hit those.
because you are the monster keeper. You should know all of this stuff about them.
You know all the stuff about them. So
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah. And like all of the monsters, as you level them up, they all have really big skill trees that can change and diversify. Like you can't, like I think their maximum level is 40. So you can't get enough skill points to actually fill out everything for the monster. You have to kind of fill up the skill trees based on whatever strategy you're running with.
Yeah, whatever niche they're supposed to fill in your party.
Exactly. So, it's really cool because each monster could fit 2 or 3 different roles. Like it might be a healer, it might be a debuff applier where like it applies poison to the enemies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But that wouldn't that also kind of incentivize you to have multiple of each so that you could
yes.
So that you could experiment with how each way plays, I guess, how each different specialization works.
It does. It definitely incentivizes you to have multiples of each monster. And later on in the game, I had a good 2 or 3 of every type, or at least the types that I was using. Because much like Pokemon, there's a whole bunch of monsters, but you're only going to use like a handful of them. You know, there's like a handful that are like noticeably better.
Right. Everybody wants their Gyarados.
Exactly. And so you run with those guys. So, like, I collected... I did not catch all the monsters. I didn't get the achievement for that, but...
Oh, man. What are you doing?
So, it's... Like, I really liked it. The late game is a bit frustrating because the monsters are all really hard, and there's, like, a lot of meta that goes into this, where it's kind of like you have to know how the different monsters might play off of each other. Like, they'll kind of have their own synergy, you know?
How the synergies work, yeah.
How the different synergies work, and if you don't... Like, I had to go and look up a lot of the different synergies, like, on the wiki for this game when I got to the late game, because I just kept dying. Like, I kept losing again and again and again, and I was like, how am I supposed to fight here? And they're like, oh, well, if you haven't mastered the meta strategies, then, of course, you can't win the late game. And I'm like, oh, well, that's frustrating.
That does sound really frustrating.
Because, like, the last third of the game, basically, all of your monsters are level 40, so they can't level up anymore. So you have to have figured out what strategies work best for your team.
Yeah, you would have to have figured out what specializations work, what specializations work better with each other to actually do well in the late game.
Yeah, I think that's probably my only complaint about this game. Well, that's one of my complaints. The other complaint that I have is I guess the game doesn't really encourage... The game actually discourages you from trying out different monsters, from like branching out, you know? Because
how so?
If you rotate your team and try different monsters and level them up and stuff like that, when you get to a boss fight, because there's frequent points in the story where you'll have like a trainer battle, basically, where it's like you versus another monster keeper. And so it'll be your 6 Pokemon versus their 6 Pokemon, right? Not all at once. It's always 3-on-3, but when one of yours or theirs gets knocked, they replace them with another one, you know, until you've beaten all 6 of theirs.
Okay.
But if you cycle your Pokemon and try different ones, basically you will find yourself underleveled for the boss fights.
Is there like you can't grind? Like there's not that?
That's just it. Then you have to go and grind. And I hate games that require you to grind. And that's basically what this does, is it's kind of like, oh, well, sorry, this guy has all level 16 monsters, so if you don't have level 19 monsters, you're not going to beat him. Sorry. That's rough for you. And so that part was a bit frustrating, but I think that kind of inherently goes with these monster capturing team style games. They all kind of have that.
Well, because there's the training aspect, and I mean, let's face it, training is a grind.
Yeah,
like that's all it is. Like real life training is a grind.
Yeah, I do like that it has the XP share that you get. Like, you know, in Pokemon, you have to find a special item to share XP with the team that's not being used. This comes with that by default.
Oh, that's
the
nice.
The six Pokemon in your party will all get XP at the end of the fight, regardless of if they fought or not.
Oh, that's nifty.
So I like that. But all the Pokemon that are like in reserve that aren't in your party of 6, they don't get XP. You have to bring them into the party to level them up.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
So it was pretty cool. It does have a like part of the thing is there's like a ranking system. Like you start out as like a keeper apprentice, and you eventually become like a keeper master or something like that,
Right.
But instead of going to Pokemon
trying to get all the
gyms,
badges.
instead of getting badges, you look for what they call champion monsters that are basically like supercharged monsters that they're like, you can catch that type of monster, but this is like that monster on crack, like he is like supercharged, more health, he deals more damage.
It's the shinies, isn't it?
It's the shinies, basically, yes. And they're really hard. They are really hard.
Are they?
And a lot of them, a lot of the champion monsters, the only way to get their egg is to find out the right strategy to beat them so that you get 5 stars.
And then you'll get their egg by default. So, like, does the eggs thing, is it always going to be, like, the egg of a monster that you were fighting?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because most of the time, the encounters you find, like, you can see what you're going to fight. Like, as you're walking up, you'll see, like, 3 different monsters playing around in a little field. And you know that if you touch one of them, you'll have to fight those 3 monsters,
Nice.
So you can kind of see what's coming up. And so I thought that was pretty neat. It does have a great art style, and I do love that it has this big Metroidvania-style world where as you're going through the game, you unlock different, like, traversal techniques that let you basically go back to areas you've been before and maybe go to areas you couldn't get to. Like, oh, there was that ledge up there I couldn't get to. Well, I have double jump now, so now I can get up there,
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a great way to go and find certain monsters that, like, they only appear in certain spots, and it's pretty cool. It has a great story. The base premise is that there are, like, bad people that have snuck into the sanctuary, and they're called, like, they're like alchemists is what they're called, like they wear like the plague doctor masks and stuff like that, and they believe in science, even though they're, like, trying to use magic to destroy the world or something, but they're men of science. I don't know.
That's kind of backwards. Okay.
So the base premise is that they are endangering the sanctuary, and you and the other spectral keepers, like, there's like 4 ancient bloodlines of the 4 people who started the sanctuary, and they're the ones that have the 4 spectral animals, like the starter Pokemon.
Right.
And so the spectral keepers are in charge of maintaining the sanctuary, and so they are defending the sanctuary. And so basically you and the other 3 spectral guys have to go and hunt down the alchemists to save the sanctuary.
Nice. Okay.
The plot gets bigger and crazier, but I don't want to talk any more about it without spoiling the story. So,
right.
But that's the base plot. So I really liked that, and it makes you traverse the entire world. The sanctuary has a bunch of different biomes. Like, there's a regular grassy field, and there's a underwater place, and there's a snow place, and a lava place, and it has lots of different biomes that you can go to get different elemental types of monsters and stuff.
I was about to say, it's like going to the Safari Zone to get
basically
different. Okay.
And so it's really cool. Like, I really enjoyed the game. Like I said, the late game kind of made me frustrated because, like I said, it was the whole thing where you had to know how the meta properly worked. But it was, all in all, it was a really fun game. And I really liked it. I love the whole party management system where I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and level up. Let's look at your skill tree and see what the best skills to pick out are. And
you don't learn moves like you did in Pokemon. You unlock them by leveling up.
Yes, they're all unlocked by leveling up, and, like, you can see in their skill trees, like, you'll see all 4 trees, and so it'll tell you, like, oh, you can either level up an attack you've already got. So, like, as it goes down the tree, like, if you start with, like, I think the first one I had was, like, Ice Strike, where, like, the guy throws, like, basically snowballs at the enemy.
Nice.
Right? And the more you level it up, the more snowballs he throws. So it'll be like combos, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, But, like, if you don't level it up, then it's just 2 snowballs,
Interesting.
And so it was pretty cool. I really liked it. Definitely would recommend it. I don't know how much replay value it's got. I will say that it has a lot of stuff to do either during the game or post game kind of thing. There are a lot of hidden secrets and little nooks and crannies. There's a whole series of, like, champion monster that you can't really fight until you're either at the end of the game or after the end of the game, because they're all level 40 champion monsters.
Right, they're all really hard.
They're all really hard, and so that was pretty cool. When you get to the very end of the game, you do get the chance to get the other starter Pokemon, which I thought was cool. Like, you have to fight the starters, but they're basically champion monsters, and they're level 40 champion monsters.
Oh man!
And if you beat them, then you get their egg. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice.
So like I said, I would highly recommend it if you like pixel art style games, if you like that Pokemon party management element system style games. Some of the monsters are a little weird. Like, I don't know if I would really call them monsters. Like, one of the guys I got was basically a little knight. Like, he was like a little dude. Like, he looks like Shovel Knight, where he's got a sword and a shield, and he's like this little dude. And when you level him up, he's basically Solaire from Dark Souls. He's a knight, and he has like a sun emblazoned on his chest, and he throws lightning. He has lightning attacks. I was like, this is Solaire. This is totally Solaire.
And that's the plot twist, y'all, is that man was the real monster all along.
So definitely would recommend. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But I think I kind of tapped it out. I haven't beaten all the champions, I don't think. But I'll probably go back and try it out. It does have a nifty system where all the champions that you've beaten, there's a place in the home base that you can basically try to fight the champions again to see if you can like get a better score for their fight.
Do better against them.
Yeah, that way, because like you only get one chance to fight them in the wild, but then you can fight them again at home to try to get that 5-star score and get their egg.
It'd be like, I really want that guy's eggs. Like,
yeah, there was one guy that he was a very weird, like it was a killer whale, right? But he had legs. So it was kind of odd. Like, I don't know if this was something out of like ancient like some sort of mythology for like the native people that lived up in like Alaska and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I don't know if this was like some sort of like guy from their mythology or something, but he looked really cool. And I could not 5-star him at all. I tried so hard.
Oof. But
yeah, so Monster Sanctuary by Moire Games. Go check it out. Fulfill all of your Pokemon-style dreams with fancy skill trees.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Level them up.
Level them up. Gotta catch them all. So those were our 2 video games. Now let's go ahead and jump into our board game. Or in this particular instance, it's a card game. I know we've talked about it before, about is a card game a board game? Or,
Well, you can play it on a board.
Yeah, so it's like, I guess they're all tabletop games, right?
Right.
So the game that
anything you can play on a tabletop.
Anything you can play on a tabletop is a board game. Or I don't know. So the one that we played this week is called The Fox in the Forest. This was designed by Joshua. I'm gonna butcher a name. Joshua Buergel, Buergel. Buergel. I don't know. But that's who designed it. The artists were Jennifer L. Meyer and Keith Pictionary. Yes. And this has been published by a couple of different studios, but the 2 primary ones, at least the ones that are on the box that we bought, are Foxtrot Games and Renegade Games Studio. So this is
Renegade Games.
This is like the 3rd or 4th Renegade Games game that we've talked about, because Renegade, they're just involved in all the good stuff.
Oh man, all over the place.
So,
but yeah, this one was, you and I played it together.
Yeah, we played several rounds of this game. I thought it was
I was there. This is the only game I could win.
Oh, don't
it's
you?
The only game I can win at.
Don't you give me that. That day we played a bunch of games, and I think I won like 2 rounds out of like the 15 different games that we played. I think I won like, I say 15 different games. It's like different rounds of different games. I think I won 2 that day.
Yeah, so, of any game we played, but
of any game we played.
This one was neat. It's basically just a deck of cards that.
Yeah,
I think the there's 4 suits, and I think the suit goes up to
there's 3 suits. There are keys, bells, and moons. Yeah.
What about castles? 4.
There weren't castles. There was orange was bells, purple was moons, bells? And then like the light blue was keys.
Huh.
Yeah. I think what you're thinking for castles might have been the bells. Because the bell was a funny shape that, in my mind, didn't really look like a bell. But when I went and read the documentation, it called it bells.
Is. Okay. All right. So there's 3 suits. Each suit goes up to 11.
Yes, they go from 1 to 11.
1 to 11, so basically it's, what do we call it? War. It's basically just war.
It's a lot like Spades, the card game Spades, where basically everyone has a hand of cards, and in Spades the trump suit is the Spade suit, right? So everyone plays one card, and the highest number that's played wins, unless someone plays a trump card, in which case the highest trump wins.
Right. And the trump card is what you deal out everybody's hand, and then you flip the last card after everybody has their hands, and that's your trump suit.
Yeah.
And there are cards within the game that allow you to change the trump suit to better fit how you want to do it.
There's a lot of, for what seemed like a very simple game, there's a lot of strategy to it.
Mm-hmm. Their scoring system really incentivizes that, because it doesn't incentivize you to just totally wall up your opponent.
Yeah.
It really, but it also doesn't incentivize, just totally losing either.
Yeah.
You have to have that happy medium.
Yeah. So, like, I guess before we get into the scoring, so like the base game, the base way the game works is that each person has, like, almost all the cards are dealt out. So each person has like a full hand of cards. And basically each person has to play a card. So one person will lead, and then another person follows. The person that leads gets to play the first card.
Right. And the person who follows has to beat that or strategically lose.
Yeah, they are required to play the same suit if they can, and if they can't, they can play whatever they want, which could mean they get to play a trump card. So, and like you said, the trump card is determined after each time you deal the cards. Like the last one you flip over, and that's the trump suit.
Yes.
And so, and like I guess the way, so like you do that, and you go back and forth until everyone's played all of their cards. You go back and forth,
and then you count up points.
Yeah, then you count the points. And the person who leads, who gets to play the first one, is whoever won the last play. The game calls them tricks. Whoever won the last trick gets to lead, unless they have a card that says otherwise. It's like a lot of the cards will have special powers that are like, if you lose the next game, if you lose this match, lead the next trick. So, and then, like you said, there were certain ones that it's like, when you play this card, you can replace the trump suit with a card from your hand,
right.
And
there were, I think it was sevens are bonus points for whoever wins.
Get a bonus point for every seven in a trick you've won.
In that trick, yeah.
So
I thought nines were interesting, because it's like when you play a 9, it basically turns whatever suit your 9 is, turns it into the trump suit.
Yeah. If I played the 10 of keys and you threw down the 9 of keys, you would win because it would change it to the trump suit, unless keys were the trump suit.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird, right?
Or unless you were playing against another 9.
That's true. Then
it only says because it specifically says on the 9 card when there's only one 9 in play.
Yeah.
And you really have to pay attention to what the cards say, because it goes to the rule. Just read the card. That
kind of harkens to like read the rules, and all that. It's like if a game that's all about doing powers that are on the cards that you're playing, it's like you better read the card you're playing, Read them. Like only a few of them are like that. Like that have abilities. Yeah, I think it's all of the odds. All the odd numbers have a special power. Yes, because there's one that lets you draw another card and replace one. Yeah, because I think it's the one card is the one that lets you, if you lose the trick, you get to lead first on the next time. Then the 3 lets you swap the suit for a card in your hand. The 5 lets you. I think the 5 lets you draw. Right? Lets you basically replace a card. Yeah, you draw a card, and then you put a card from your hand back into the draw pile. Yeah. And then 7s were the one that are extra points. 7s are bonus points. 9 is the one that transforms into a trump suit. And 11 is the queen. Yes, 11 is the queen, where basically when you play it, your opponent has to either play their highest card of that same suit. So, like if I play the 11 of keys, you would have to play your, let's say the highest you had was a 10. You'd have to play your 10 of keys unless you have the 1 of keys, in which case you can play the 1 and the 1 will win, right? It says the 1 beats the 11.
I think we might have played that wrong because I think we always lost.
I might have misinterpreted that card as well. I think it might. I think you might still win, but then you get to lead the next trick because you played a 1, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it'd be weird. That'd be interesting if the 11 is really just an automatic win.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I think it basically is. Like, it's a neat way to force your opponent to flush out their highest of that
cards.
suit.
Yeah.
So,
but
and then, going back to the scoring, like you had mentioned how the scoring was kind of weird. Like you go back and forth, you keep playing until all the cards are played, and then you add up all your stuff, and you get the you're going to wind up playing at least 2 rounds because it's the first person to hit 12 victory points.
Is it 12 or 21? Because you can hit 12 pretty quick.
You're right. 21 victory points. And the way that the points are scored is based on how many tricks you've won. So if you won 0 to 3 tricks, you get 6 victory points. If you only won 0 to 3. And it describes that as humble. If you won 4 tricks, you only get 1 point because it says you've been defeated. Right. Same thing with 5 and 6. 5 tricks will get you 2 points. 6 will get you 3. Then if you get 7 to 9, you get 6 victory points because you were victorious. Mm-hmm. But then if you got 10 to 13, so if you won just about every trick, you get 0 points because you've been greedy. And the game punishes you for being greedy.
For winning too. See, because then there was a time, I distinctly remember like looking at how many you've won. Because I was like, all right, I have to get him over 3 because then that'll drop him back to 0. So if he stays at 4, I can just beat the crap out of him because he's going to get no points.
Yeah, I'd only get 1 point.
And granted, I might not get any points either, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Well, no, because I think you're only going to wind up doing like 13 hands, right? So if I won 4, then you're going to get 9.
Yeah.
Right? So that means you're going to get 6, and I'm only going to get 1 point. So it's a whole strategically, you can strategically lose in order to get more points than your opponent
later on. Yeah. That's I caught myself doing that a lot. I was always looking at how many you've won versus how many I've won. And I was like, all right, doing quick maths in my head, and being like, all right, if he wins 2 more.
Playing like Phil, where you're worried more about what's going on my side of the table than what's going on yours.
Well, but you kind of have to.
No, I know. Like we've talked about how that's a very valid strategy. That focusing on what your opponent is doing and how you can impact what your opponent is doing. Yeah. It's a very viable strategy for winning a game. You know, it might make the other person a bit salty, but it'll still win.
But this is kind of the name of the game because a big way of how the points are divvied up is how many you've allowed your opponent to win. Even if you still won, like they can still get points based on how gloriously they lost.
Yeah, if they lost a whole bunch, then
right?
It's still okay for them.
It's like I want to let you win some, so that I can absolutely trounce you.
Yeah, like what I think would be really cool is if you had a bit of a, I'm going to call it a bad draw, but it's more like if you drew a bunch of low numbers, you know. Mm-hmm. Then you would kind of basically want to force your opponent to win all of them, you know? Because like if you have the opportunity to just throw away every trick, then your opponent will get nothing and you will get 6 points.
Right? Like,
you know?
Yeah, because then your opponent's really like, oh no.
They're like, how do I lose?
It's like, yeah, you will find yourself at times asking that very question: how can I lose this?
Yeah.
Because I need to lose because I'm winning too much.
Yeah.
Like you never thought you'd find yourself asking that question in a game.
Yeah. Like
how do I lose?
While this game seems like it's really simple and it would go really fast, there were plenty of times where we both kind of froze because I'm sitting there and I got my hand of cards and I'm just like, I need to lose 2 more tricks. But these are all like 10s and 11s. flip. I can't lose any tricks. And so,
well, then I'm over there like, damn it, I have a 7 here. I'm holding on to a 7 for him to play so that I can lose to it, or no, so that I can win it and get that 7 and get a bonus point for it.
Yeah,
and it's those things that you're really just playing around with your own dynamic versus what your opponent is trying to achieve.
It winds up being one of those things where I think we've talked about it before, where you kind of have to know the person you're playing. I mean, like, you don't have to know the person you're playing, but knowing the person you're playing and kind of thinking about how they would go about handling situations in this could kind of give you a bit of, like, not an advantage, but, like, you'd have an insight for what you should do, because you can kind of guess how your opponent's going to react.
Well, I don't know. Would that really work for this? Because it is a card game. Like,
yeah, it is a
luck of the draw game.
Yeah.
So, because then at the end you're just like, oh my god, how did you get that 1? You were supposed to, you weren't supposed to have a 1. You were supposed to beat me, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's all
really,
those things.
It's a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm really glad that we picked it up, because I think Erica and I were at the store one day and we saw Parks on the shelf at Target, and I was like, oh my god, we have Parks. We own this game, and now it's on the shelf.
It's $50 though. Anyway.
It's worth every penny. That game is so fun.
We
saw it, and I geeked out. I even took a picture of it, and I posted it, and I was like, hey, Keymaster Games, your game's on my shelf. I love it. But then right next to it, we saw this one, and I think Eric and I had talked about it before, where there's this Reddit, r/board games, where every Tuesday they have a 2-player Tuesday, where they talk about, like, they have a whole thread that is, hey guys, talk about what games you're playing 2-player. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a 2-player game, but they basically talk about what games they've had the best experience with as 2-player.
As 2-player games, yeah.
And we heard about this one. This one popped up a lot on there. People kept talking about the Fox in the Forest, And we saw it on the shelf, and I was like, heck yeah. And then we saw the Renegade Games logo, and I was like, even better. So,
gosh darn it.
Renegade Games has not let us down yet, all right?
Renegade knows what they're doing.
So, yeah. So the Fox in the Forest. I had a ton of fun with it. I really did. You seemed like you were having fun because you kept winning.
I do like winning. That's the number one way to give
Erica
me like
has
something.
the time to play you, and then she'll dethrone you because she's the winner. She's the winner's circle.
It's all luck of the draw, man. I can beat you with RNG any day of the week. If
our house was the Hunger Games, she'd be the only person living in one of those, like, victory mansions, where the winners get to live. She'd be the only one living over there.
She wins Catan like 3 times in a row.
Dude, if you go back and listen to all the podcasts we've talked about, Erica has won most of the games we've played. She won Machikoro. She won Parks. She would win this game. She wins Catan all the time. Like, I love Erica. I'm not trying to, like, toot her own horn, but she's a winner.
I love how it's just a meme
I picked
in the
a winner,
family now.
man.
Oh my god!
I don't know what she sees in me that I keep losing, but
it's just a meme in this family now that Erica's gonna win.
It basically is.
Everything.
Like,
don't even try.
We've talked about it before. That's why Philip always targets her, because it's like his goal. Because he used to win a lot, and now that Erica's showed up, she's basically knocked him off his pedestal.
He can't handle losing.
He's mad that he doesn't get the spotlight anymore, and he needs it back. It back. So, yeah.
Oh well.
But so that was it for our podcast today. We talked about Hades by Supergiant Games. We talked about Monster Sanctuary by Moire Games. and Fox in the Forest by that was published by Foxtrot Games and Renegade Game Studio. Yeah, tons of fun. Yeah. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Right. Bye. See y'all later.